UEA just has this gravitas, this reputation that makes you want to be here. I mean, as soon as you walk onto campus, there is this like palpable and creative energy.
Obviously, I'd heard of UEA because I think pretty much every writer in the country has heard of UEA.
I started thinking about studying abroad, and for me, the US and the UK were the most prestigious countries. I applied to many universities, but this was always my first choice.
When I was very young, I wanted to live in a caravan and travel around the world telling stories, performing and writing. And I think if I hadn't done a practical script writing and performance course, I would have found it very difficult to even conceptualise the career that I've had since then.
I actually applied solely to UEA, thinking I wanted to be a sketch comedian, but then I started studying plays and seeing more theatre, and things changed for me.
I think when I was 5, I really wanted to be a vet, but over time that changed. I was always good at writing, I always really enjoyed it, and when I was 18 I had this big choice. Do I go and study creative writing, or do I do anything else? And it was a no-brainer for me, it was writing all the way.
Creative writing at UEA is really governed by what you want to do as a writer. There is structure, but where you end up taking your work, it's entirely up to you.
We take so much from our tutors, but we're learning so much from each other as well. You really learn to trust your classmates and to really value the feedback that you give each other because it's so helpful.
I was very lucky that I had supervisors and tutors and classmates, course mates who were okay with me doing these weird poetic things that I do. I don't tend to write in a very sort of standard, traditional kind of way.
The creative writing course at UEA really gave me the space I needed to explore different kinds of writing. It opened me up to script writing and poetry, lots of different modes of telling a story. It also opened my eyes to different paths I could take with my writing. I would never have imagined that I would now be writing for video games.
That was one of the things that I really loved about it, that I was able to kind of navigate and create my own route and then find the thing that I was best at and that I enjoyed doing.
My time at UEA has just radically changed everything to do with my work. It has helped me to adapt and evolve. Everything I write has been in some way changed by something I learned or experienced here.
This course has given me the conviction and belief to take myself seriously as a writer. I can now see this as something I can do for a long, long time.
At UEA, I've found this incredible writing community. There's just this lovely context here of current students, alumni, faculty, and people who've just been drawn to Norwich for its literary atmosphere.
Norwich is a creative community. The environment here is so calm, so safe. There are lots of open spaces, lots of places where a writer can find inspiration.
Norwich is just one of those places that's, it's constantly bubbling with creativity, particularly when it comes to literature and writing. It's a UNESCO City of Literature, so where better to be if you're going to learn how to write?
There are so many galleries and theatres and music venues, but also there's so much space to breathe and be and think in Norfolk, which is part of why I decided to stay here as well.
I think Norwich is probably the creative community. We're a city of stories and creativity is valued.
UEA taught me the craft of writing, but also the business of being a writer. You have to meet your deadlines, show up, read a lot, write a lot. You have to socialise and network. All the things that were part of the MA in scriptwriting are also part of the industry of being a writer. I now work as a playwright, screenwriter and poet, and I'm a part-time lecturer in creative writing at UEA.
I went on the course thinking I'm going to have 2 lovely years and then I'll go back to teaching. That was what I thought would happen. And instead, everything changed. And I've now got 2 novels published and I call myself a writer now and I don't feel embarrassed to say it anymore because this is now what I do all the time. I'm a writer.
I write for games, for a game called Old School RuneScape. I do narrative design, where you shape the story, you do world building, and writing, where you create the dialogue. It's really exciting to be kind of on the forefront of this new field in storytelling.
The industry is evolving, and so must writers. At UEA, I'm learning how to adapt, how to shape my own career. I'd been studying engineering for 4 years before stepping out of my comfort zone and dare to integrate AI with script writing.
I would say that UEA defined me as a writer. It gave me the permission to think big. I went from writing small things to big things to grand things, from small poems to huge novels. It helped me establish my career as an author.
So I'm primarily a performance storyteller. I'm also a performance poet and a drag comedian, and I run creative writing workshops for kids, adults, and with a specific focus on queer well-being.
I think most people's perception of what it means to be a writer is very different from how it used to be. There are new fields appearing all the time. At UEA, I realised there is no one way to be a writer.